All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into, something pretty fascinating, I think.
Yeah.
It's this concept of the most great peace.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking specifically at the Bahá'í Faith and how they view this concept.
Right.
From what I've been reading, Abdul-Baha and Shoghi Effendi, they lay out some pretty incredible ideas about how to get there, how to achieve world peace.
Yeah.
We're going to be diving into that today and kind of looking at it step by step.
So not just like a dream.
Exactly.
Like a pie in the sky kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like an actual roadmap.
A roadmap.
To get there.
Yeah, a practical roadmap to get there. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it doesn't start with like peace treaties and, political agreements and all that.
It's much more fundamental than that.
Yeah.
It all starts with a complete transformation of our thinking.
Okay.
Our consciousness. We're talking individual and collective spiritual awakening.
Okay, now hold on. Spiritual awakening, now I'm all for personal growth and all that stuff. But how does that translate into world peace? I mean, what does that even look like?
Well, think of it like this. Abdul-Baha, he believed that until we recognize the oneness of God and the interconnectedness of all religions, true peace will always be out of reach. We're so caught up in our differences, right? That we forget the fundamental spiritual truths that unite us.
So basically, humanity needs to grow up a bit.
Yeah.
Get over our petty squabbles and realize we're all part of the same team.
Yeah, and Shoghi Effendi, he saw the teachings of Bahá'u'lláh as the catalyst for this maturity.
Okay.
Imagine a world where those old dividing lines, nationality, race, religion, they just fade away.
Yeah.
Because we've realized how much we have in common.
Right.
At a deeper level.
Yeah, at our core. It's there. Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going.
Good.
So we've had this massive spiritual awakening.
Right.
We're all vibing on the same frequency now.
Yeah.
What's the next step on this path?
Education.
Okay.
Abdul-Baha was adamant about this.
Right.
Universal education for everyone.
Okay.
Not just to get a job.
Right.
But to develop the kind of thinking that can solve global issues. The kind of heart that chooses compassion over conflict. You know what I mean?
But isn't education already pretty widespread?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, most countries have at least some form of schooling, right?
Yeah. We're not just talking about basic literacy here.
Okay.
We're talking about a global system of education that prioritizes developing critical thinking, understanding, and a sense of responsibility for the planet and each other.
Got it.
Shoghi Effendi even talked about the need for international collaboration on this. Imagine the resources and innovation that could be unlocked.
Yeah, that's a game changer. Okay, this roadmap is getting really interesting.
Yeah.
So step 3 is world peace and achieving world unity.
It's a big one?
Yeah, and this is where Abdul-Baha throws a curveball.
Oh, yeah.
He envisioned a world government. I mean, is that even possible?
It was definitely a radical idea for his time.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, he wasn't talking about just setting up some bureaucratic system.
Okay.
He believed that a world government could work if and only if it was built on a foundation of spiritual transformation.
Oh, okay.
You can't impose peace from the outside.
Right.
It has to grow from within.
So it's like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand.
Yeah.
You need a solid foundation first.
Exactly.
Right.
And Shoghi Effendi saw organizations like the League of Nations and the United Nations as early attempts at this global structure.
Interesting.
They were flawed, for sure.
Yeah.
But they represented a movement in the right direction.
Right, at least they were trying. Okay, step 4 is all about eliminating prejudices.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I think we can all relate to on some level.
Absolutely.
Whether it's about race, religion, gender.
Yeah.
We all have biases we need to confront.
Think about a time you encountered prejudice.
Oh, yeah.
How did it feel? Did it limit understanding?
Absolutely.
Create division?
Yeah. I remember this one time.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But for the Baha'i teachings, eliminating prejudice starts with understanding the inherent worth and dignity of every human being.
Right.
We are all part of one human family.
Yeah.
And Shoghi Effendi argued that this concept is essential for achieving the kind of harmony and cooperation that's needed for the most great peace.
Makes sense.
Right.
If we're constantly viewing each other through the lens of prejudice, it's pretty hard to build trust and work together.
Exactly. And history is full of tragic examples of what happens when prejudice takes over.
So we're dismantling prejudice. We're embracing our shared humanity.
Right.
What's the next piece of this puzzle?
Well, step 5 tackles global justice and equity.
Okay.
This was huge for Abdu'l-Baha. He believed that without social and economic justice, lasting peace is just a pipe dream.
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
The gap between the rich and the poor, discrimination, lack of opportunity, all of that creates instability and breeds conflict.
You can't expect people to be peaceful when they're struggling to survive.
Right.
Or facing systemic injustice.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like expecting a plant to thrive in toxic soil.
Yeah. And the Baha'i teachings offer some interesting perspectives on this.
Okay.
They talk about wealth redistribution, ensuring everyone's basic needs are met.
Okay.
Creating a society where everyone has a fair shot.
Now, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
And it's not just about economics either.
No.
Right, the Baha'i Faith is really big on equality across the board, especially gender equality.
Shoghi Effendi was very clear about this.
Okay.
He believed that we are only scratching the surface of humanity's potential until women are given equal opportunities.
Right.
And their voices are fully heard.
Yeah.
He saw it as absolutely essential for achieving true peace and progress.
Okay, this is where things get a bit sci-fi.
All right.
Step 6 is all about the international language.
Okay.
I'm picturing a universal translator, like they have in Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Maybe not as high-tech.
Right.
But the concept is pretty amazing.
Okay.
Abdu'l-Baha envisioned a world where everyone could communicate effortlessly, breaking down those barriers that lead to misunderstanding and conflict.
Hold on, you're not suggesting we all abandon our native languages, are you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Think of it as adding another tool to our communication toolbox.
All right.
A common language that we can all use to connect with each other, learn from each other, and work together more effectively.
So like a linguistic bridge connecting all of humanity?
Exactly.
I can take it.
Shoghi Effendi believed this could foster a sense of global unity like never before.
Okay.
And as we've seen, unity is at the heart of achieving this most great peace.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Spiritual awakening, universal education, world peace, eliminating prejudices, global justice.
Yeah.
And even a universal language.
Right.
Is there anything else?
Almost there. Step 7 dives into the relationship between spiritual maturity and integrating material and spiritual progress.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Basically, it's about ensuring that all of our technological advancements, our scientific discoveries, and our economic progress are guided by wisdom, ethics, and a deep concern for humanity.
Yeah, that's a really important point. We can have all the gadgets and gizmos in the world, but without the wisdom to use them responsibly. We're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot.
Exactly. Think about some of the ethical dilemmas we're facing right now with artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, climate change. The list goes on. We need a strong moral compass to navigate these complexities.
Shoghi Effendi talked about this too, right?
He did.
He believed that science and religion should work together, not against each other.
Yes, he saw them as two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
Both essential for understanding the universe and our place in it.
Right.
For him, true progress had to encompass both material and spiritual advancements.
Got it.
Each informing and guiding the other.
It's like that saying, the heart without the mind is a ship without a rudder, and the mind without the heart is a ship without a sail.
I like that.
We need both to chart a wise course.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the grand finale.
Right.
The culmination of all these steps.
Okay.
The most great peace.
Take a moment to really visualize this. Abdu'l-Baha described a world where justice, equality, spiritual awareness, and of course peace are no longer just aspirations, but lived realities. Right. A world where global cooperation is the norm.
He actually called it a world commonwealth of nations, right?
He did.
Where nations still exist.
Yeah.
But work together for the common good.
Yes. It's not about erasing national identity.
Okay.
It's about transcending the limitations of those identities to create a truly unified global community.
That's a powerful vision.
It is.
So after this epic journey through the 8 steps to peace,
yeah,
what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Right.
How do we take these lofty ideals and translate them into something, well, actionable? I mean, it feels a bit overwhelming, to be honest. Like, how can one person actually make a difference in something as massive as world peace?
Well, that's where those 8 steps come in. They're not just a blueprint for global change,
right.
Right. They're also a guide for personal transformation. Each step is something we can work on in our own lives, right here, right now.
So it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
Instead of waiting for world leaders to figure it out.
Right.
We start by embodying these principles ourselves.
Yeah. Start by examining your own beliefs and prejudices.
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself judging or making assumptions? How can you challenge those thought patterns?
Yeah.
And practice seeing the humanity in everyone you meet.
You know, it's funny because I've been trying to be more mindful of that lately, especially in online discussions.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the negativity.
Right.
And forget that there's another human being on the other side of the screen.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
And think about how this applies to your work in listeners' field.
Oh, okay.
How can you promote understanding, cooperation, and justice within your own sphere of influence?
Wow. That's a really good point. I never thought about it that way. But there are definitely ways I can apply these principles in my work. And I bet there are tons of organizations and initiatives already working towards these goals.
Absolutely. Look for groups that are promoting education, advocating for social justice, facilitating interfaith dialogue.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to get involved and contribute.
It's almost like each act of kindness, each effort to understand someone different from us, each step towards justice, it's all adding to this collective momentum towards the most great peace.
And who knows, maybe those ripples will eventually reach the highest levels.
Yeah.
And inspire the kind of large-scale change we need to see in the world.
Well, this has been quite a journey.
It has.
The most great peace, as envisioned by the Bahá'í Faith. It's a vision that challenges us to think bigger, to act with purpose, and to never lose hope in the possibility of a world transformed by peace and unity.
It's a journey that requires both individual and collective effort.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, the steps are there, and the potential rewards are immense.
Absolutely.
It's a future worth fighting for.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope it sparked some new ideas and maybe even inspired you to take action in your own life.
And until next time,
keep
diving deep. And remember, even small acts of love and understanding can make a world of difference.